We will completely overhaul Kamala's corrupt Department of Injustice and turn the Injustice Department back into the best law enforcement agency on the planet. Instead of persecuting Republicans, they will focus on taking down bloodthirsty cartels, transnational gangs, and radical Islamic terrorists, which words they won't even say. They won't even say any of those words. Second, I will bring back free speech in America because it's been taken away. I will sign an executive order banning any federal employee from colluding to limit speech, and we will fire every federal bureaucrat who is engaged in domestic censorship under the Harris regime. We will do that. And third is I will expel warmongers. We have these people, they want to go to war all the time. You know why? Missiles are $2 million apiece, that's why. They love to drop missiles all over the place. You know, I had no wars. Remember Crooked Hillary used to say, look at him, he's going to cause wars. No. My personality stopped wars. She said, look at his personality, he's going to cause wars. My personality stopped wars. We had no wars. Other than I finished wars that they couldn't finish. I defeated 100% of the ISIS caliphate, etc. And did it quickly. We did it in 4 weeks. It took them, they said it was going to take 5 years. We did it in 4 weeks. We have the greatest military. I got to tell you, they're not woke. Don't worry about it. When you hear they're woke, guys like Milley and some of these guys that were on the top, he's gone now, which is a great thing. He's the one that said, leave all the equipment in Afghanistan. It's cheaper. He told me that, too. That's when I didn't listen to him anymore. He said, it's cheaper to leave an airplane that costs $150 million brand new than it is to fly it out with a tank of fuel, jet fuel. It's cheaper to leave it behind. I said, this guy is really bad. He's really bad. You know, it's amazing, though. Not one person from that horrible tragedy of Afghanistan, not one general, not one leader in any way got fired, not one person. You know, Biden never fired anybody because they have the goods on him. So I fired people like crazy. I love to fire people. I love to fire people that didn't do their job. I fired a lot of people that didn't do their I fire them. You didn't do your job. I'm sorry. Say hello to your family. You're fired. Get out. We got to get some. I will expel the warmongers from our national security state and carry out a much-needed cleanup of the military-industrial complex to stop the war profiteering and to put always America first. We put America first. Fourth, to curtail the power of federal bureaucrats and save your thousands of dollars, we will cut 10 old regulations for every one new regulation. And at the suggestion of a great guy, Elon Musk. Has anyone ever heard of him? Huh? No? Elon. But at the suggestion of Elon Musk, I will create a government efficiency commission to conduct a complete financial and performance audit for the entire federal government. And we will cut the fat out of our government for the first time meaningfully in 60 years. We're going to cut the fat. There is so much fat, you won't even know it's gone. Fifth, we will drain the government education swamp and stop the abuse of your taxpayer dollars to indoctrinate America's youth with all sorts of things that you don't want to have our youth hearing. Ultimately, we'll limit, and you know what we're doing here. I say it all the time. I'm dying to get back to do this. We will ultimately eliminate the federal Department of Education and send education back to Wisconsin and back to the states. We'll send it back to the states so that Ron Johnson can run it, okay? We'll send it back here. Mr. Tiffany, we'll get our Congressman Tiffany involved. He made a good speech, too. We're at the bottom of every single list in education. You know that. We're at the bottom of every single list, and yet we're number one in terms of cost per pupil. So, you know the expression I used once, twice, 3 times before, and it was very effective, actually. What the hell do we have to lose, right? We'll send our education back to the states. And, you know, some states will do a fantastic job. Some won't. And it's the same ones that are laggards right now. I don't want to name them because why would we want to embarrass Gavin Newsom and some of these people? Gavin Newsom, why would we want to embarrass him? But that's, by the way, speaking of California, she destroyed as you know, Kamala destroyed the greatest city in America, San Francisco. She destroyed it, totally destroyed it. Then she became Attorney General of the state. She destroyed the state of California. Now she's running for president. We're not going to let that happen. 6, we will not tolerate so-called equity policies that punish Americans based on race or gender. America will return to the merit principle, which has just been approved by the Supreme Court of the United States. You work hard and you will be very successful. We're back to the merit system. Nobody thought that was ever even possible. We need merit. There's so many people that are left out in the cold, and that's not going to happen anymore. You work hard, you work diligently, you go to school, you do what you have to do, but it's based on merit. Again, you haven't heard that in many, many years. And 7th, working with Robert F. Kennedy Jr., you know Bobby, RFK Jr., that was a meaningful endorsement. That was a great endorsement. We'll take on the corruption at the FDA, the CDC, World Health Organization, and other institutions of public health that have dominated and really are dominated by corporate. We will establish a panel of top experts to investigate what is causing the decades-long increase in chronic health problems and childhood diseases, including the autoimmune disorders, autism, obesity, infertility, and much more. And Bobby's going to be very much involved in that. We're going to get him involved because that's what he likes. That's what he's great at. Isn't it great to have a Kennedy with us? Isn't that nice? And this is really, I mean, I don't want to disrespect the rest of the family, but this has been the dominant Kennedy for the last 25 years. You know, he's a great guy. I've known him a long time. He's a great guy, and he really wants what's good for the country, and to have his endorsement is a very important thing. And Tulsi endorsed us, too, almost simultaneously. And we love Tulsi. She's been fantastic. She's a woman of great common sense, actually. I've watched her for a long time. She has great common sense. I will ask Congress to pass sweeping reforms to prevent foreign influence peddling, bribery, and corruption like we have seen with a certain family in the United States. The Biden crime family, that's the family. What the hell is happening with that family, Rod? What's going on with that family? You know, the night he spoke at the convention, Congress found out that he stole $27 million. Nothing happened. Nothing happens with these people. He stole $27 million, and he was speaking at the convention. They were saying what a wonderful president he was. The worst ever in history. You know, he made a State of the Union speech, the last one. It was so bad. And I turned to CNN and MSDNC. I wanted to see how bad they'd report on it because, you know, it had to be bad. And I turned, and one of them said, not since Franklin Delano Roosevelt has a speech been made so brilliantly or delivered so well. He was coughing in his hand all the time. He's coughing. Then he walks out and shakes everybody's hand. Some people actually didn't want, they went, hello, sir. Hello, sir. It's wonderful to have you up there, sir. So can you imagine, you know, Franklin Roosevelt was a great speaker in a certain way. Very elegant person, came from a very elegant neighborhood, so to speak. Very, very rich and entitled, but different from these people you have today. But very beautiful speaker, and they compared him to Franklin. Not since Franklin Roosevelt, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, has anybody made a State of the Union like that? And I said, this is really terrible. This is really terrible. And finally, I will support modifying the 25th Amendment to make clear that if a vice president lies or engages in a conspiracy to cover up the incapacity of the President of the United States, if you do that with a cover-up of the President of the United States, it's grounds for impeachment immediately and removal from office, because that's what they did. That's what they did. You know, think of it. If he didn't go to that debate, he'd still be running. He'd still be running. To every citizen who's sick and tired of the parasitic political class in Washington that sucks our country of its blood and treasure, November 5th will be your Liberation Day. November 5th this year will be the most important day in the history of our country, because we're not going to have a country anymore if we don't win.